The roar of engines and the gleam of chrome filled the bustling auto shop, but all eyes were on her, the woman who seemed to command the room just by stepping in. Victoria Lawson, CEO of Lawson Industries, was used to control, influence, and having the world bend to her will. But today she was frustrated. Her brand new luxury car had broken down right outside her corporate office, and none of the mechanics could figure out what was wrong. She tapped her foot impatiently, scanning the faces of the men in the garage. That's when she noticed him, Malik, a young black mechanic with hands smeared in grease and a calm confidence that stood out among the chaos. "Fix it," Victoria said abruptly, walking over. Her voice was sharp, almost teasing. "And if you do, I'll marry you." The words hung in the air. The other mechanics laughed nervously. Malik paused, wiping sweat from his brow. He could sense the arrogance behind her challenge, the way she was testing him, daring him. Yet instead of anger or pride, he simply smiled. "Miss, I don't work for promises," Malik replied gently. "I work for results." Victoria raised an eyebrow. "Oh, I think you'll make an exception for me." Malik didn't answer. He crouched by the car, his hands moving with skill and precision, inspecting every wire, every spark plug, every hidden flaw. Victoria watched, initially with skepticism, but slowly, admiration replaced doubt. She noticed the patience in his eyes, the quiet dedication, and the respect he gave to his work, something she realized she hadn't seen in her corporate world for a long time. Hours passed, and the shop grew quiet except for the occasional clang of a wrench. Finally, Malik straightened, a small grin on his face. "Done," he said simply. Victoria, expecting excuses or an apology, was stunned when the engine roared to life, smoother than ever. She opened her mouth, but no words came. For the first time, she felt something unfamiliar, humility. Malik looked at her and shrugged. "Like I said, I work for results, not bets." There was a pause. Victoria, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and awe, realized something important. She had underestimated him, underestimated people who weren't part of her world, and underestimated the power of respect and kindness. Instead of gloating, Malik leaned back, wiping his hands. "You know, fixing this car didn't make me marry anyone. But it did remind me why I love what I do. Helping people, making things work, no matter who they are." Victoria felt her heart shift. She had come with a challenge, expecting entertainment, perhaps even validation of her own power. Instead, she received a lesson in humility, compassion, and humanity. I didn't mean it literally," she stammered, feeling the tension in her chest ease. "I just wanted to see if anyone could do it." Malik laughed softly. "Then I guess you got your answer." And in that moment, something changed. Victoria didn't just see a mechanic. She saw a person whose value wasn't measured by wealth, status, or social gains, but by character, integrity, and heart. She realized the world she ruled wasn't just about contracts and acquisitions, it was about people. Weeks later, Victoria returned to that same garage, this time not with arrogance but gratitude. She handed Malik a simple envelope, a thank you note, and a generous bonus, no strings attached. "Why?" Malik asked, curious. "Because," Victoria said, smiling genuinely for the first time in years, "you reminded me what it means to care, to give, and to respect. That's worth more than any contract I've ever signed." Malik nodded, touched. "Sometimes," he said, "the right action is all it takes to change someone's life." And it did. Victoria left the garage that day with more than a fixed car. She left with a renewed understanding of humanity. She learned that true connection, respect, and kindness could break barriers that wealth and power never could. Sometimes the simplest act of dedication and integrity can inspire change, not because it's flashy or loud, but because it comes from the heart. And that is a lesson Victoria, and perhaps all of us, would carry forever. Uplifting message. True power isn't in wealth or influence. It's in kindness, integrity, and selfless actions that touch the lives